Welcome to Business Connection. I'm Liz Spencer. We have wonderful guests in studio today. We have TJ Hicks. He's the Development Director of Wheaton Park District. We have Sandy Gabor. She's the Executive Director from the Western DuPage Special Recreation Association. And they're here to tell us about the Play for All Playground and Garden Foundation. That's the exciting part, you guys. You're building a really cool park out there for us.
Yeah.
And it's already kind of in motion. It's open. Sandy, tell me a little bit about where it is and what's going on.
Absolutely. So the Sensory Garden and Playground is on Naperville Road and Navistar Drive, kind of behind the hotels there.
Okay.
And it's an opportunity for us to build a state-of-the-art public playground and fragrance garden that appeals to all individuals with and without disabilities.
That's awesome. Now, TJ, the Wheaton Park District is involved, but there are many other people involved. Tell me how that all works, because it's a very neat collaboration of folks.
Exactly. That's one of my favorite things about this project is when it was started, the Wheaton Kiwanis were involved and then got in touch with the Park District, and from there it just grew. And so a lot of different groups have come in and are collaborating on this. So it's the Forest Preserve of DuPage County, Shane's Inspiration, which provided, it's a special needs playground company that provided a lot of the initial funding, the local Rotary groups, the City of Lisle. And what has happened is that this foundation that we have now is really built up of all of these organizations coming together because they understand what an important cause this is and what it'll do for our community.
Now, I think you all were very smart that you put it into 5 phases to get this park built. So tell me, what phase are we in now and where are we headed?
I've got some cheat sheets here. So
That's
phase
okay.
1 was the 2 to 5-year-old playground area, and it included a central gathering space, the fragrance garden and music area as well, and then art along the way. So what's really exciting about the first space is that we use focus groups, and we design this with people with autism in mind, as well as other disabilities, physical disabilities, visual impairments, etc. And every time we're ready to design something, we bring in focus groups and people who can tell us why playgrounds don't work for them or what they need. Parents of children on the autism spectrum, as well as parents who have children with disabilities and without, to talk about what are their needs, what makes a playground work for them. One of the things they told us in our first focus group was the need for shade. Oftentimes kids with autism they have sensory issues, so they don't want to put on sunscreen. So they need some shaded area to rest and to be able to relax. And playgrounds don't often offer that kind of space.
At least not right away. They plant little saplings. It takes about 20 years to get a tree.
Right.
Exactly. Phase 2 is our accessible treehouse. I'll let TJ tell you the details of that. Phase 3 is our adventurescape and water play. So it's an opportunity to provide a higher play space so that children can challenge themselves as they grow and climb up high and be safe as well, with good surfacing underneath. And then water play, which is really exciting, where they can change the flow of water. They can listen to water as it goes down the brook, etc. So it's a really cool opportunity. The next one after that is our 5 to 12-year-old play area, which will be your standard playground with lots of ramps and slides and interactive activities. And then lastly, our multi-sport field, if we have the opportunity to create that, something unique and state-of-the-art that isn't really even developed yet.
That's awesome. And all of this is to gain accessible play area for all people. But when I think of accessible, I sometimes just think curbs, lower curbs. But when you think accessible...
Well, I think we use the words universally accessible when we're building this facility. Or this space. And universally accessible means beyond what the Americans with Disability Act requires. So the perfect example is if you're going to build a ramp, instead of building a ramp that one child in a wheelchair can get up, you build the ramp wider so their friend next to them can be holding hands and go up the ramp together. That's what universal accessibility is.
That's awesome. And though it's accessible and being built with all this in mind, everybody can use it, from the kid with autism to the friend that is just fine, to the person in a wheelchair, to the deaf person, to the blind. It's for everybody.
Absolutely.
And that's an awesome thing. You mentioned the treehouse, which I think is really neat, because not many parks have a treehouse. Tell me about that. That's phase 2.
Yeah, we are thrilled about this. So the Treehouse has always been part of the plan, just because the idea that a lot of times kids with different abilities, they're not able to get up high. And that's something that a lot of people experience. You know, they climb trees when they're kids. That's part of play. And we want to give that opportunity to everybody. And a private donor has just stepped up, and they have made a $150,000 donation over the next couple of years to help us get this thing done. And it's really jump-started the project, and so we've moved it up to phase 2, and it's pretty exciting. So we're about to head into the design portion of that. They're going to be, the board of the foundation is going to be meeting with some design firms and doing some of those focus groups. And if we can get the funding completed, we'd like to get this thing started as soon as possible. We might even break ground this year. So it's a pretty exciting project.
That is very exciting. And I think we take for granted, and this is where I think this park is so wonderful, that we can get up high and what it means to be able to do that.
Right. And one of the things that stood out to me when I met this donor was they said, everyone deserves to touch the sky. And it's just kind of that thing that is, you don't think about it maybe if you grew up climbing trees, but if you are in a wheelchair or if you have some other issues that don't allow you to join in on those other playgrounds, that's not something you're going to have to worry about here. We're going to make this thing, and we're going to figure out how to do it. I mean, we've looked at other examples all around the community, different communities that have tree houses, to see what the best practices are, and then we're going to figure out, what is the best for our community, and all of that's going to be built into this amazing tree house.
That's incredible. That just gives me goosebumps to hear that, because no matter how high up you get, you're still able to touch the sky for you. So that's awesome. You also have play dates that I wanted to touch on, because I think we think of play days as, just something to go to, but you do a really special job with them. Sandy, tell me a little bit about them.
So we help with creating these play days, and this space is a public space. You can come now, you can play now, you can come anytime. It's in the Forest Preserve. It's in a wonderfully tree-centered area. The play days are a really structured opportunity for us to help kids with and without disabilities to connect. And so what we do is we put out a lot of information and publicize these play days. They're the third Saturday of May through August. And it's just a couple hours, and you just come out, bring your kids, and parents can sit around and chat in our central gathering space, and the kids can just go crazy. Have lots of fun jumping and getting out a lot of energy. And, in our fragrance garden area, we offer a big box of dirt and shovels. And it is the most popular. So while we're spending $400,000 on equipment sometimes, these kids come and just play in the dirt, and they love it because it is not something they do typically. And so it's lots of fun to help with those interactions and help kids just enjoy the day and come out and have fun. And what's happening is all the parents are then connecting, and it's kids of all ages. So it's really fun to see those connections. It's a true feeling of community on those play days.
And it's so important, and I think it's so funny that they want to just play in the dirt. It's sort of like when you open that Christmas gift and you look at the thing, and then suddenly they're playing with the box.
Right. Yeah.
So that's awesome. Thank you for stopping by and sharing your wonderful story and where you are in this exciting park. So we wish you a lot of luck.
Thank you so much.
We're going to be right back with more Business Connection.